Hey, what's up, guys? Bye here. In about 12 hours, 1860 is going to enter in another big fight in our current KvK. And with that, I'll be showing you guys my 6 marches set up right now. So the commander pairings that I'll be using, the support skills that I'll be using for each commander pair, pantry, and equipment. Okay, guys? So let's go right into it here. And I'll show you guys my first marches. The first march going to be Guan and Leo. So for Guan and Leo, I am using 2 support skill. The first one is ever-changing tactic from Sun Tzu, which gave 20% skill damage increase. Both Guan and Leo can deal skill damage, so the skill damage increase can work pretty well on them. The second skills that I am using on Guan and Leo is going to be Lord of the Land and Seas. Troop led by the commander gain 20% increased attack and against another 20% extra skill damage here. I think that worked really well on Guan and Leo. You might ask me why I'm not adding more like defense on my Guan and Leo. Because I think my Guan and Leo doing pretty well by themselves, right? Especially with the equipment that I gave them. So I do not need to give some of the skills that give extra more defense on them. And another thing is that I have another squishy marches that I can use the skill for increased defense or damage reduction for, right? So Guan and Leo with 2 support skill that increase attack and skill damage. So this is the first pair. For Guan, I'll show you guys the equipment that I'll be using on my Guan here. So I'm using 4 pieces of legendary. 2 pieces are infantry, legendary infantry equipment set, which is the weapon and the helmet. I'm using the hope cloak here to gain more defense. I'm using the set brutality with special talent, character humility with special talent here, fraud strat with special talent as well. I am also have the special talent lucky coin on him in case people want to swim me down. Yo, my lucky coin is gonna kick in, right? I'll let them swim me down, okay? So that is for my Guan equipment. For talent tree, this is the talent trees that I'll be using on my Guan right here. So maxed out on infantry talent tree here, except for the fleet on the foot that gave my speed bonus. I am maxing out on rejuvenate here on the skill talent tree, and I am going for more skill damage here. Tactical mastery increase 3% skill damage. I'm also giving more defense stat boost here as well for my marches here. So I chose not to go with the buckle shield for the tank, right? So this gonna be the tank tree I'll be using on my Guan to gain more skill damage at the same time also more defense. Okay, so that is my march number 1. March number 2 is going to be Martel and Hero. So for Martel and Hero, I currently use 1 skill on them only. So I'll be using National Hero. This skill gives increased normal attack damage of troop led by commander by 10%. A normal attack have a 10% chance to grant additional 100 rage as well. So I am giving this pair a little bit more rage engine because Martel is a pretty slow rage regen commanders. Damage increase for normal attack. So both Martel and Hero can have a pretty decent amount of damage attack because Hero 4 skill is it like okay, second skill gave 30% increased attack alone for Hero, and that is third skill, right? And the fourth skill, it can, is that the fourth skill or is that the second skill? Is that the third skill? Okay, the third skill here. So the 30% increased attack is permanent. It also Hero can also gain like extra attack bonus as well from stacking, right? You can get up to like 75% increased attack as well. So the higher attack you have, the higher the damage you can deal for normal attack damage. And that is the reason why I am putting the National Hero support skill on this pair. So this pair is also pretty tanky. Like Martel is a pretty tanky, right? Decent, very good primary commander for infantry player, and they can last pretty well. Like I've used Martel and Hero for so long, and like I am pretty happy with the pair. And I'll be using T5. I'll be using T5 with Z pair here. And I'll show you guys my equipment on my Charm Martel. So Charm Martel is a primary commander. The equipment I'm using on him is I am using 3 piece of wind swap, right? I do not have another bearer. If I have like a force threat here, the epic boots, I can definitely remove one of the wind swap here. I'm going with set brutality special talent here, character humility special talent, giving them a little bit more defense here with the gatekeeper shield. I'm using the ancient stratagem to gain more 3 more percent troop capacity. Delay amulet here on Z pair. So this is my Charm Martel equipment. And let's go and take a look at my Charm Martel talent tree. Okay. So for talent tree, this is what I am using on my Charm Martel for this KvK. Maxing down on Hold the Line, getting up here for the infantry march speed bonus, giving some extra stat boost up here for infantry as well, right? 2% increase attack infantry here, and an extra 1% increase in health here for infantry as well. Maxing down on medical supplies, maxing down on loose formation here to give more skill damage reduction, maxing down on balance here to give more that actual more tankiness, right? 3% damage reduction increase, and at the same time I'm doing less 1.5% damage, which is good enough. I am not using the pseudo formation this time. I opt in to give him more like permanent stat bonus instead. That is a slide chain on my Charm Martel talent tree. Okay, so that is my second pair. Okay. For the third pair is going to be okay. So I'll be using Atila Takeda, right? I'll be using Atila Takeda instead of Saturn Takeda. So my original plan was using Saturn Takeda, but like I think after I look at the support skills that I can use on Z pair, I will decide to use Atila Takeda. Even though my Atila is not expertise. My Atila is 5, 2, 3, 4, but I think he's gonna be good enough. And I'm gonna test out Z pair to see how well they do on the field. And if I do not need like the debuff, slow debuff, right? I think at the beginning when we first fighting, I don't think I'm gonna be needing the slow debuff a lot. So I think it's better for me to use Atila Takeda, but I might change it up. I might change it. I might replace Atila with Saturn, and I might go back to Saturn Takeda. But I'm gonna try with Atila Takeda first. Even though my Atila Takeda is not expertise, my Takeda is expertise. So for the support skill, I am using Tiger Knight from Chow Chow, which gives a cavalry 10% march speed bonus and 30% increase in attack, which can help really well with that normal attack damage from Atila Takeda. And that is the reason why I want to use it pair. I also have a Saint from Joan of Arc here. Increase normal attack damage of troop weapons commander by 25%, right? So another reason why I like, okay, maybe it's better for me to try use Atila Takeda in this KvK instead of Saturn Takeda. And that is the reason why I'm gonna be using Atila Takeda instead of Saturn Takeda. And I'm gonna try to use mostly T4. At the same time, I also want to save resources for a big push for Zenith of Power. So I'm gonna try to use as much T4 as possible here. So mostly T4. I don't think we'll see if I have enough T4 to run like a full march of T4 or not. We'll see, okay? So Atila Takeda, for the equipment on Atila, I don't have some crazy ass equipment on Atila here. I'm using a whole bunch of like green and blue equipment here. Like 3 pieces of wind swap, 1 piece of expedition war helmet here to give me more defense. I'm still using the Vanguard set here for cavalry, like pretty cheap set that gave very decent amount of stat bonus. I am using the ancient stratagem as well again here to gain more troop capacity, and I'm gonna throw a lucky coin on the pair just in case they get swarmed. I'll be happy to take that shield. Okay, and I can be aggressive. I can be aggressive with my Atila kit as well, even though they're not max, but I can still be aggressive because I have my lucky coin. And for the talent tree on my Atila, I'll show you guys my talent tree the talent tree I'll be using on my Atila here. So for my Atila, I am maxing down on martial mastery here. Increase normal attack damage by 6%. Decrease active skill damage by 3%. I'm not doing skill damage, so I don't worry about it. increase 6% damage here on normal attack. Very nice. I am also going with more offensive move here. Increase all damage dealt by 6%, but at the same time, increase all damage taken by 3%. Okay, so a little bit more aggressive here in terms of offense. Maxing out on the effortness here. I'm going with the buckle shield and moment of triumph. Okay, and I'm maxing out on the Emblazon shield, right, which gave like a 12% skill damage reduction. Is very high. Right? I think must have a skill here for any cavalry player. Getting Undying Fury here, max. Yep, that is pretty much the talent tree here for cavalry. I might, let's say if I'm gonna see a lot of like archer players on the field, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna remove the 3 point from moment of triumphs to putting it into the halberd here, which can give me more damage to archer units, right? So I had to see. If I'm gonna see a lot of archer players, if they're like a 20% to 30% of the archer market on the field, then I'll be switching. I'll be switching to using that halberd instead. So we'll have to see. So that is my talent tree and equipment on my Atila. Next up we have my forepair is going to be my Alex and YSE, right? So Alex and YSE, I'm a little bit worried about this pair because they are a little bit squishy. So Alex and YSE, and the support skill I'm using on this pair. So as I mentioned, right, Alex and YSE can be a little squishy. I am using the Bond of Fate, which is the Saturn support skill here. Give the commander 30% reduced skill damage reduction, and at the same time also 20% reduced counter attack damage as well, right? So it can help him with a little bit more tankiness there for this pair. Next, another skill that I'll be using for this pair is Mutineer. Okay, so this skill gave the pair a little bit of like healing, right? A little bit of like survivability there, sustainability. Which is I think very much needed, right? So it was like a big debate between using either the Mutineer on Alex or Alex YG, or using the Mutineer on Guan and Leo. And after some, I don't know, debating, I will finally decide to use the Mutineer on my Alex and YG instead. So this one is gonna be Alex and YG. I would say depend on how well this pair can perform and how my other archer pair can perform. I might switch up and I might run Constantine and Alex. Instead, but we'll have to decide. We'll have to wait and see how well this pair can perform on the field. So let's go and look at the equipment here on my Alex. So my Alex and YSG is a little bit squishy. Okay. So I'm trying to put some legendary equipment on them to give them more defense. So the helmet, the chest, set brutality, special talent here, the gatekeeper shield to gain more health, character humility to gain more health here as well. I'm putting on the scarlet health to gain more health as well here, and ancient stratagem and delayed amulet with special talent. Okay, a little bit more tankiness there for Alex and YG, because YG does not give any stat boost at all for infantry. Alex barely have any defense, barely. He has a shield, but if he gets swarmed, he's gonna go down very fast. Right? For talent tree, I am using maxed out on infantry here. Talent tree almost maxed out. Getting maxed out on effortless here. Getting that armor joy with a 1.5% damage reduction here, and I'm maxing out on the fight to the death, giving more extra damages. Alright, so that is my Alex. That is my number 4 march. My 5th march going to be Artemisia and Amanitore, my one archer pair here. Okay, so very easy for the skill pick here. For the pair, I'll be using Guardian Valencia, which is the LC skill, gave archer unit 20% increased defense and 15% march speed bonus. And I'll be using the solely sharpshooter here as well from Kira, that gave 6% increase in attack and 6% increase in defense for archer only. Right, so we have a 2 or 3 archers support skill in this KvK, so it was very easy pick for me. I don't have to look at some of other like universal support skill for this pair. So I'm a little bit worried about my Amanitore performance because she is only at 5521 right now. Her force skill is only level 1, right? I would love to have her force skill to be at least level 5. But we gotta try. We gotta try to see how well this pair can perform on the field. Artemisias and Amanitore, right? If Artemisias and Amanitore cannot perform well on the field, I'm gonna switch Amanitore out with YSG. So I'll be running Artemisias and YSG, and I'm running Constantine and Alex instead of Alex YSG. Okay, so that is the plan. And I'm gonna try to run mostly T4 as well to save my resources so that I can push for Zenith the Power event. So for equipment on my Artemisias, I'm using a Lucky Coin in case she gets swarmed. Call up the Loyals to give her a little bit more mobility because she is quite slow. And full set of archer equipment here with special talent for epic equipment here. Three, a very high amount of defense that I'm getting from Artemisias and Amanitore here for the equipments. For talent tree, this is the talent trees that I'm using on my Artemisias. Almost maxing out on the archer talent tree, maxing out on whistling arrow here at level 5. Getting that medical supply, which very much needed for Artemisia self-inflicted damage. Maxing out on loose formation for the skill damage reduction increase. And this is it. 2 point here in case I get swarmed. Yep, so this is the talent tree on my Artemisias that I'll be using for this KvK. And that is my 5th march. Okay, now let's go to the last pair. The number 6. I'll be using Richter and Athelflead, okay, with T4 only. And for the support skill, I'll be using Tragedy End, the skill from Kusunoki. The normal attack of Troop Lab as a commander have a 10% chance to cause the target take extra damage per second. Damage factor of 450 per 2 seconds here. So this skill does not rely on any kind of like, if your pair have a high attack or high defense or not, right? It can work pretty well with any pair here. So because Richter and Athelflead doesn't have very high attack, so it can work pretty well on this pair. And mostly got BT4, okay guys? And for my Richter equipment, so my Richter is pretty slow, so I'm using 4 pieces of windswept on him. One thing is that I do not have legendary equipment available as well, but I'm gonna stick with 4 pieces of windswept for now to get that extra mobility. Giving that wind scar special talent as well to get even more mobility here for him. Gatekeeper shield special talent Silent Try here. So that is my equipment on my Richter here. And for the talent tree, the talent tree is very similar to Martel, right? Pretty much similar. Maxing out on Hold the Line, actual skill point here for the permanent stat increase. I am skipping on the pseudo formation here, right? So that is the skill, that is the talent trees that I'm using on my Richter here, right? So that is my 6 marches setup into this KvK, right? One last look at the 6 marches here. In case doing my live streaming, you guys asking me, oh, what marches I'm using, what support skill I'm using. So this is what this video is about, to show you guys my setup into this KvK. I hope you guys find this video helpful or useful in some way. Thanks for watching, guys.